Do you want to go to a place? I want to go to a place. Do you want to go to a place? I wanna go to a place. I can take you there. I can take you there. Do you wanna go to a place? I can take you there. Say there. Do you wanna go to a place? Search far and wide by your side.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Welcome. Let's see who we have. If we have anybody in the chat here, not just yet. Doesn't look like just yet. So,
thank you. That was a great intro. I wonder
if it was that, the digital marketer. I don't know if you know her. Her name is Lucky Marie.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. So talented. I don't know. So talented. I gave her what I want. I gave her an idea and she just ran with it. You should get in contact with her.
I will. Absolutely.
You should get in contact with her. Yes. And shout out to my hardworking trucker man who's on these highways and byways. My firstborn nephew who was on the music that Lucky Marie put together for the amazing intro that I absolutely love. Sometimes I just be playing it just to see. Okay. Before I want to thank you for agreeing to join me with this conversation.
You just tell me. You just tell me and I'm here.
It's going to be something. It's going to be something. But before we do that, I was watching something on YouTube before we did our show here. So one of the things, it was a show about Kenny Lattimore and Faith Jenkins. You know Judge Faith Jenkins?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she was talking about,
divorce court.
Right. Yeah, right. So in the clip I was watching, they talked about how she had written down 50 things that she was looking for before she met this guy, because she had several bad relationships. So when they got together, he checked off just about all of them except one, that he was not over 6 feet because he's 5'11". But it made me think about something that I did when I was working. Now I see that there's 6 people in the chat. So if you can identify with the story I'm about to tell, put a 1 in the chat. The story was, I remember when I was up, there was this job I went to this training. Okay. And this is something I'm going to tie back into relationships. I went to this training. Hey, Jenny. And during the training, they had us write down our goal for ourselves. Okay. To write a goal for ourselves. And then we put it in an envelope and we gave it to the instructor. And she said that she was going to mail it to us in 6 months. Well, I forgot all about that. I forgot all about what I had written. But when the letter came back 6 months later and I opened it up, I had written down that I was going to be promoted to a GS-14. I was going to do this, I was going to do that, and I was going to do these things. So I wrote it down and really forgotten about it, but I pursued the things. Pursued that promotion that I had written down. And I said, by this time, within 6 months, I'm going to be this position. I'm going to be this position. I'm going to. And when the letter came back and it was mailed to my office and I opened it, I'm like, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. So for that stated, how many of us, when we are looking for relationships, do we write down what we plan to do? How we plan to look for?
That's a good thing because we always mention the Bible and stuff, but we skip certain things to life that are key, such as write it down and make it plain upon tables. The thing that I've kind of had this conversation with you too. I feel like we set standards and we don't have goals. We have the relationship standpoint of what we want, but we don't write it down. We usually have a vision board and things when it comes to finances or where you want to be in your life, career wise and things like that. We don't really put those same things when it comes to friendships or personal relationships. And but I wonder, because girls do have lists, so maybe they are writing it down, but they're writing it down from the standpoint of what they want to attract, but not necessarily where they are and how they can complete these tasks to attract that. You kind of get what I'm saying? Because what is that lady on Dr. Phil? She had a long CVS receipt list.
Oh, Jesus, yes.
Everything. So they're writing it down, but I don't know. What do you think it is? Because if you when you write down stuff with your job, you know that, okay, I have to produce these type of skill sets. I have to do these type of things to put myself in that position.
Right.
It's not really the same when you write down, okay, I want this man. He just got to come to me, and you sit it down and you pray over it. No. I don't think that's what he means.
No, not at all. And, interestingly enough, it really, I'm coming right back. Had to turn my light on. Interestingly enough, that really hit me because I'm like, wow, I wrote it down. And at the time I wrote it down and went back to my office after the training, because that training was out of town. I started pursuing the things, actively pursuing the things that I had written down. So when I was looking at the video today and Faith Jenkins talking about what she had written down, I think one of the things that for those of you out there who want relationships and or marriage, not only I think I would submit to you, write down on one side what you're looking for, but on the other side, write down what you would offer.
That's a good one.
Ooh. What you would offer. Because my mom used to say, everybody got to pee. She said half of the world has a pee, but now more than half of the world has a pee. So what makes you, apart from that, different?
Maybe it's the way you lay it on them.
That only lasts for so long, And shout out to my nephew Truth in here, because I shared with him, and this is for free, ladies. I want y'all to think about it. Romance can carry you a long way that your pussy can't.
Yeah, but romance without finance.
Let's not go there, because finance is what you build together, not just one person.
That's true.
If you have somebody working toward the same goals.
Yeah. That's what I mean without finance.
Yes, working toward the same goals.
Romance with no vision.
Well, I went out of town to visit my mom, right? And so when I got back, hello. When I got back, I left to go see my mom, but I knew while I was gone, my husband was going to be home and he was going to miss me, right? Because when he came home, I wouldn't be here. So not only did I have him a fridge full of food that he could eat while I was gone, okay, but I shared this with Truth that I have this brass, um, no, it's not brass, it's silver fortune cookie. It's about this big, and you can put notes in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I written in a little note to my honey and put it inside the fortune cookie and left it on his pillow. So when he got home, he would see that his wife was thinking about him.
See, that's game. See, I was just talking about on my channel. Sometimes you gotta still have game. Oh, hi.
Thank you.
Yes. Sometimes you still gotta have game, even in a relationship. Do you know when I was saying this, they was like, "Oh no, you don't want nobody running game on you." That's game, because everybody don't get that. But you knew, okay, when he see this, it's gonna make him feel like this. And when I get home, in the anticipation, because it's just like those people in long distance relationship, they get the
Mhm.
live chat popping, they wear the little stuff. You know, it's the anticipation of while you're gone. When I get back to just stay on their mind. I think a lot of the times when we do talk about goals in a relationship, it just stops after you get the relationship. Like once you get married, there's no goal set. Like people just feel like that I won, and then I should just be comfortable, and that's it.
Well, Truth said that's not game, it's love consideration. But it's only game if you use your powers for bad. But if you use your powers for evil, it's considered game. But what it is how should it's strategy.
It's game.
But it's okay, it's game, but I'm using my powers for good, right?
Because look, if you was like, TT, you the main one to be like, okay, let me give y'all some game. That's what it is. Now you know, if I give you this game, it's up to you to either finesse it or make it work for you. But it's still
you can choose to use your powers for good or evil.
It's just like if you got a dish and you cook it a certain way, different from different people, and everybody like, dang, what you put in here? You ain't telling them. But I'm sure when you telling Danielle, you like, girl, let me scoot over. Let me show you this what you do. It's like let me teach you the way to his heart. And don't they say it's through his stomach?
Yeah, it is. And speaking of that, I made last weekend. I said, honey, when you come home, I'm gonna have a special dinner for you. I made this crock pot roast, honey. It was good. But anyway, my point being is it made me think about writing it down. And I said, wow, I wrote down what I saw myself doing far as my career.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved in that direction to make those things happen, forgetting the fact that I'd actually written it down 6 months ago. And when the letter came, I'm like, whoa, I did what I said I was going to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would submit to you, get a sheet of paper. Half of what you are looking for. And on the other side, write why you are worthy of what you say you're looking for.
I think I'm gonna do that. Not really looking. I'm gonna say I'll write down the qualities that I possess and how it would add value. And I think it's best to kind of expound on the qualities that add the value. Cause like it could be let's say, girl, you what's the popular term, like basket weaver. You can weave some hair up, but how the hell does that add value in your relationship? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really add it.
And shout out to Kevin Samuels. I still have some difficulty hearing that song. I really do, and even hearing his voice sometimes it's still hard. Even though we weren't close in the latter years, like I said, I still knew him for a long time.
We still need Kevin. We still need it.
And I'm gonna tell you, this coming weekend is OU Texas weekend. And OU Texas weekend is like a school reunion for OU. This is the time that you would see people that you hadn't seen in years that congregate, get down here to the OU Texas weekend. And so it's times like this, I would like, would I have seen him here? Because like I said, it's like a school reunion. People you may not have seen 4 years. But anyway, okay, so I want to get into this video. I sent it to you, but you said you didn't have a chance to see it.
I didn't see the ending part.
Okay, and this is good because we need to talk about this. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because we hear in these spaces a lot about we need men to protect us, and we women say, you know, I don't need to protect every man. I don't need to respect every man. I just need to respect my husband. But sometimes you can, even if you have a husband, you might find that you need the protection of somebody else's husband. And then what you gonna do?
That's tricky because do you want Mr. Randolph risking his life for some heifer?
But I know my husband though. And I'm gonna tell you, let's get into this video.
Yeah, let's look.
Let's get into this video because I told you he couldn't even watch the whole thing. He just couldn't even watch the whole thing. He was so he couldn't even watch the whole thing. How do I share my screen?
Yeah, that's kind of like the situation in New York. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but the girl who was leaving a convenience store and she didn't want to talk to the guy and he bit her face. He like tracked her down and like bit a chunk out of her face and beat her.
What?
Because she didn't want to give him her number.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so here. Okay, hold on a minute. I think I'm messing up. So let's do this here. There we go. So here, okay, so listen, this is not for the faint of heart. Parental discretion is advised. This is not for children. This is not for children. Okay, so let's go. Fair use.
We are going to begin this evening with a vicious attack that again raises questions about the criminal justice system. A woman on her way to work at Kennedy Airport was pummeled to the ground, punched, and then kicked at the AirTrain station in Howard Beach. This video is from security cameras at that station. Police did make an arrest, and it turns out the suspect has a long history of attacking people. The victim spoke exclusively to Eyewitness News reporter N.J. Burkett.
Okay. First thoughts.
So you mean to tell me it was a man that felt brave enough to attempt to protect her, but the minute he seen the guy coming at him, he ran.
He ran away.
So what is the message that says, you know, feminine women, they don't fight. They don't fight back. So I guess she was being feminine.
I don't know. One could argue that if she would have fought back, he may have killed her. But he almost did anyway.
Like kill her now. So it seems like he's trying to kill her now. So for me, I'd rather go out with a fight.
I'm agreeing.
Yeah, it's so much stuff she could have picked up. I mean, okay. You know, you start thinking of stuff.
Okay, let's continue because there's more.
Do you know how scared I am now? I was never a person to be scared.
Elizabeth Gomes was beaten so badly, she stands to lose the vision in her right eye. Her head throbs with pain, and she's barely slept in a week. Not since she was attacked in the Howard Beach AirTrain station 6 days ago.
I can't see anything on my right side, honestly. And it just hurts.
Elizabeth was on her way to work at JFK. She had just gotten off the A train and was headed up the stairs to the AirTrain platform when she was attacked from behind, smashed in the head with a bottle, and she never saw it coming. In the MTA's surveillance video,
okay, you see this guy right here. There's a guy running. Now, we don't know if he's running to catch his next train or if he's running from the other stuff. Let's continue.
Elizabeth is dragged across the concourse and slammed headlong into a wall. She is punched mercilessly and kicked repeatedly. When a man tries to intervene, he is chased away before the suspect turns back to Elizabeth and kicks her 5 times before he calmly walks away into the transit system.
Like I said, Mr. Randolph couldn't even finish watching it. He was so upset.
Because it seems like, okay, they both were running. So it seemed like they could have been running from him. You know what I'm saying? But are we in a society now where men are running like women? Because when we talk about equality, like, what does that really look like? That looks like men are equally as soft and timid than women. And we're saying that this woman could really stand there and unfortunately take a punch, and a man who attempted to or could have helped ran from even being hit a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the man would have had a more chance of, he may have been injured, but he would have had more of a chance than she did, clearly. Now, no, it's not said why it happened. Now, interestingly enough, the title says that woman was beaten in subway after refusing the man's advances, but she doesn't say that. So let's continue.
Yeah, it's true.
She says he was muttering incoherently about Satan in the moments before the attack.
He's talking about the devil. He's talking about a whole bunch of nonsense.
Her husband is heartbroken and furious.
Man, I watch a video and I tear my heart out. You hear me?
The suspect was later arrested, identified by police as 41-year-old Wahid Foster. In 1995, law enforcement sources say Foster was arrested for murdering his 82-year-old foster grandmother in a brutal beating at the age of 14. 6 years later, he's arrested for stabbing his 21-year-old sister with a screwdriver. And in 2010, arrested for attacking 3 workers at the Creedmoor Psychiatric Center where he was an inpatient. He was on parole at the time of last week's attack. It happened at 5:15 a.m.
Okay, so you heard her say, and he was murmuring words about the devil, and just murmuring incoherently. And obviously, since we talked about you see that he had several arrests, and being an inpatient in a psychiatric facility.
Girl.
Okay. So, yes, this person has a history of mental illness. But as interestingly enough, though, he didn't lose his shit when it came to men. He lost it toward this woman.
Well, he was prepared to. The dude ran. But if you talking about the history, he has some sort of traumatic issues with women. Because if you look at, people like us, we watch Lifetime, right? Certain situations, or like if you watch Criminal Minds, even though we sell that's just TV, it comes from based in reality, which you notice a lot of times when people develop unhealthy traumatic experiences or perspectives about a particular woman, it could be their mother. Victims after the case somehow fit that description. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily, oh, I just hate women. It's just like what's his name on the movie Psycho, Norman Bates.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yes. If you look at just a scenario, it was just women that reminded him of his mother. They had blonde hair, or for him to do that with his foster grandmother. And
hold it right there. So that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Foster grandmother. So he had a foster mother. So he was in the foster care system at an early age.
Maybe they knew his ass was crazy, and they said, "I don't want him in my house."
I do watch those.
Yes, we do.
I do.
Women that watch ID Network are crazy.
I do watch them. Okay, so let's continue because there's some more stuff here.
Elizabeth says there were no police officers anywhere in the station. No one to prevent the attack, and no one on the scene to respond to it.
Every day is an incident.
Look how he
What happened to all these police officers? They said they will have there to protect us, to be there. There's nobody to be found. I don't understand.
Some effing weird comes in and changes your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I almost got away with it.
Girl, and I'm like, had you did this, girl, they wouldn't have caught you. Like,
But okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna take it in a different direction. Because like I said, Mr. Randolph was, he was so angry he couldn't even finish watching it. Because, he's thinking about me, how helpless this husband felt, okay, because his wife is going to work. So the direction I'm going to take it in is part of me is like, okay, so, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, many men in these spaces, or women in these spaces too, talk about how you're supposed to be so soft and demure, and your husband is supposed to fight your battles. And that is true. But what if he's not there?
I guess you just gotta go out and funeral arrangements he must plan. Because that's what the message really is. Like, even when you hear the messages where women are saying, oh, if my man is getting beat, we've been there in them conversations, I'ma jump in. Oh, see, you out of order. But in a sense, you do want a woman. I'm sorry, let's just look at the woman king. Had it went differently, if we said, you know what, I want my woman to also be a warrior in a time of need for the family, in any event I can't, or any event I need to tap in, it should be a team effort. That's always looked down upon. But then you see women like this, like I was just talking about earlier. I cannot just travel, just me and Lauren, me and my daughter. Like, we imagine this happening. You gonna beat me and then take my child,
Girl.
That stuff like that really happens. It's not until they get caught on camera until people start having a conversation about it.
Right.
But that happens all the time. I'm sure like she's just one of the many women that have been attacked in public transportation areas or just minding their business. Imagine women just at the bus stop. Like that happens all the time in LA. Like older women who are they're a prime victim for situations like this because they can take your purse, whatever they want from you, even if they aren't crazy. You just are the easy person to attack as a woman.
And I'm gonna tell you, so one of the reasons that was hard for Mr. Randolph to watch, because he is from a generation, my generation, okay, that and he was raised by a father who, if you saw a woman being attacked,
mm-hmm.
you jump in and you go to the aid of the woman.
Mm-hmm. Now you don't want to get involved today.
Yeah, you go to the aid of a woman, and then but we're seeing countless times in videos, news videos, that women are being attacked in subways, on buses, and people just stand there and watch.
They pull their phones out. They pull their phones out.
They pull it and they won't intervene. So again, you saw the we don't know if the first man that was running, we don't know if he was trying to catch a train or whatever. But we do know the one man who attempted to help, when God bowled up on him, he's like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm. That's like what is it on Friday when he was like, do you want some? To the daddy, he was like, no.
No, I mean, I don't.
I'll call the police, lady. I'll call the police, hopefully. Yeah, no.
Well, see, I don't advise getting involved in men fighting. That's for sure. I don't, because some woman gonna get hurt. But I will pull out my gun.
Girl, a shank, anything. Keys between your knuckles will work if you don't have nothing.
I'll pull out my mace. But I will pull out my gun. And so that goes back to what I was saying, is that what, they talk about, who's going to come in the middle of the night. I mean, who's going to go to the door in the middle of the night? Well, ideally, it's going to be your husband if you have one.
And me waiting in the hallway.
But if he's not there, you better get that shotgun and get ready to do lock and load.
Especially right now going on in Illinois with the purge law.
You better lock and load and get ready. And here's the thing, I don't know if it's the military in me. I don't know if, I don't know if it's watching some of the things I'd watched, some of the women in my family experience. I don't know. But my head is always on a swivel. I'm always looking around. I'm always looking around. I'm always looking around. And I'm gonna tell you, go ahead.
It's just like the situation. I want to say Trill brought it up on cruise season. A video that went viral where a dude got robbed. But like if you look at the video, the dude was standing behind him, acting like he was ordering stuff. You have to pay attention to people's body language. It's just like, how many times have you been in food places that where you stand there and it's not really a sit down place, you just stand there waiting for your food. You could tell the people that come in that's really about to order, or the people that's coming in looking at other people to see who they want to attack. Is really, that's why I always champion street smarts. We always talk about, I want her to be educated and booked, but she also needs to have a little bit of street smart so she can be able to read the room and situations. She might need to get you and your kids out the situation. She might need to also tell you, like, hey, this man looking like this. Like I told you earlier, I don't even like to be around people that talk to themselves. I don't even like to be around people that talk to themselves. Just openly normal. No, it's just a lot of things you have to be able to pick up on body language. And I'm thankful my mama was from the streets of South Central, where she had to be in that life where she went to school. She was walking to school from ages 7 or younger. She remembered walking to school and different things, where today a 7-year-old needing to walk to school, girl, it would not happen.
Listen, me and my sister were taking the city bus in Los Angeles at 7 and 8.
You couldn't do that now.
Hell no.
I don't believe you could do it then. I just think a lot of things were different then. Hi, Keisha. Yeah, I think a lot of things are different now. And you would think kids would be, or we would be more protected with technology today. But it doesn't seem. So what would you say, like in these situations, what would you say men are supposed to do? Like if these are men that really are scared to fight, what ways would you say that they could have protected her or offer some sort of assistance?
Well, here's another thing. I had a conversation, and shout out to Truth. He was saying, and he made a good point, because I didn't think about it from the standpoint. I was thinking about it from the standpoint that I was going to talk about what I'm talking about. And he stated that this is one of the reasons that some men have a problem with women saying, well, I don't have to respect all men. I just have to respect my husband. Well, part of that is true. But part of it is that you should show respect to men in general, because you may need somebody else's husband to protect your ass when your husband ain't there. So
see, this is where I'm gonna contradict myself.
Okay,
and I know it's a contradiction.
Okay,
but I'm gonna say it. If I'm being beaten or attacked in public, I do want somebody to come to my aid, man or woman. Because if we both gotta jump him, we both gonna jump him. It's two better than one. But I don't know how I would feel my husband going to put himself in situations, whether his back get injured, anything, and just because you was defending another woman, what I'm saying? It's like imagine the length that it can go when a man has to protect a woman from a crazy person, because we know people who are crazy have some undeniable strength. Yeah. So if they have to put something or catch a case behind trying to defend it, you could be rightfully so. I don't know how I would feel, like that you come back home or you can't come home, or because you defended someone else. You ain't no police officer. Like that's something you have to understand. So it's like one of those things. If it was me, I think that men should offer protection in those situations, because it could have been his wife, it could have been a grandmother, it could have been anything. I can just imagine that husband probably feeling like, why didn't the men step in? But exactly. As a woman, would you want your husband in this world today where most men aren't stepping up, but your husband is the one that's just going to be a man's man all the time? I mean, a woman's man all the time, and he's going to do what he needs to do. And he steps in to fight this battle that has nothing to do with you and your family, and you run the risk of losing your husband.
Well, I'd say I'd be concerned about it, but I would know that that is who he is, and I'd be okay with it. And I'm gonna tell you why. I got another story. It's different, but it's the same. Um, a few years ago, I've told this story before, but a few years ago, I was going to Walmart and I was driving into Walmart and I drove in looking for a parking space. I saw this man, this elderly man walking from the parking lot into Walmart. So I parked my car and I'm getting out of the car. And mind you, I'm seeing him walking and I'm still driving to look for a parking space. So by the time I find my parking space, he's still walking to get into the store. So for every one step I took was like 2 or 3 little steps for him. So I saw that he was struggling with his mobility. And I'm seeing all these people walk by him. Young, old, black, white, Hispanic. All of these people walk by this senior citizen man who was obviously having a problem. Nobody helped. So I get there, I said, "Sir, do you need some help?" He said, "Yes, I'm looking for a scooter to." So I said, "Well, you sit down. I'm going to look for one for you." So I went to the person in Walmart, the first employee in Walmart I saw to try to find one. "Oh, I'm on my break. I'm going on my break." So I went around the whole store until I found someone or found a scooter for him and took it back to him. And he was so surprised. So when I left the store and he thanked me and he offered to pay me, and I told him I didn't want any payment. And when I left the store, it made me cry. It made me cry because I only did what I would have hoped someone would have done for my grandfather. And so when you talk about stuff like this, the man is probably thinking, why wouldn't someone help my wife? Because I would have helped somebody else's wife or helped someone else's daughter. So that's why I think about it, because I only do, and I know my husband, because that's his nature, he would only do what he would have hoped someone would have done for his wife or his daughter. And I think it is sad because, again, we have men that won't do that anymore. We have women who won't do what I did because everybody's just thinking about their own damn self. And like I said, I went to my car and I bawled because all I could think about is, what if it was my grandfather out here? And somebody just seeing that he needs help and just like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm going on about my business. Let me read a couple of comments. I was pissed. So, see, a man only protects who he loves. The community for the community has been depleted. Okay, well, listen. Let me tell you what I'm not going to do.
That's not the order of man, though.
Yeah, I mean, okay, everything is feminist fault. We get it. Everything is fucked up, messed up by them. Got it. What else you got?
I was just about to say, Cynthia Bailey, what else is going on?
We know that everything is messed up by feminism. We get it, and I don't disagree with that. But can you please give me something else? Can you please?
But that's not the order of men. Hi, Robbie. That's not the order of men, though. Men are supposed to be protectors of women, not necessarily just your woman. Mm-hmm. Even though that's top priority, but that's what they are. That's why I said, me as a woman, I'm going to understand, but I'm be like, but babe, like it was nobody else around. Like, you couldn't, like that's just the selfish part of me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that it's wrong. I think men in general should step up in society. We can't say we want a community of unapologetically men, like men that just are macho and all of this, but yet still they only protecting their wife at home. Like, no, that's not the order of men. Because when you have daughters that's going to these school campuses and they're being attacked. All these different things. You want other young men to come in and protect your daughter if she's being violated. The first thing you're going to think of is, where were the people around? Were there nobody around? You know, that's the first thing you're going to ask, because when I'm not present, I need the community to take its place in protecting my children. And we're in a time now, TJ. It was just like I was on what's his name channel that time,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying, well, Lucky, you want a guy that knows how to fight, so you looking for Black Spider-Man. Like, you want somebody who have all these powers. And it's just like, are we really sitting up here saying that the only thing we could think of a man defending himself is a thug? So now you have women saying, oh, you know, I want a thug, even though it's the misrepresentation of it. What they're really talking about are certain qualities that person may possess. But now we really are saying, if a woman want a man to defend her, or ain't really about to turn down nothing, if it comes down to it, she must want a thug or a gang member, or you know what I'm saying?
That's some stupid. And listen, at the sound of my voice, thank you, Robbie. At the sound of my voice, thank you, sweetheart. If y'all got grandfathers, uncles, cousins that are older than 60, ask them about what they would do in those instances. Or what, because see, I'm thinking about my grandfather, because my grandfather was not a thug. He was not a gangster. He was a church going, holy man, Bible reading man. But guess what? When he saw something that wasn't right, I remember seeing my grandfather step in. Now, again, it's a different time. I get that. My grandfather didn't fight, but he sure had a pistol on him all the time. I'm just going to say that.
That's my grandfather too. My grandfather would remember those mops. He will unscrew that mop if he needs to and use the handle. But you also talking about a generation of men that were offering protection to us by way of, when you seen a little girl outside twerking or doing something, my back is aching, my bra too tight, my you a little dance, and you doing it right. Yeah, and then you had the grandfathers, sit your fast tail down. You know that you didn't even know the man. You just knew when it was certain adults outside, you couldn't play certain games. Now we have a generation that is more led by women. So the protection of men is pretty much on a halt. So now it's like, you don't be saying nothing to my baby. So we're talking about a generation of men that, unfortunately, when they pass, that's it. All they're gonna hear is the great stories. This generation of men cannot compare. We don't have men today, even if they wanted to. We're talking about the baby boomers or the ones after. They want to, right? But they're not going to say anything to offer protection in any way, even if it's to prevent situations like this. Like, hey, and try these type of things. We're gonna think of something, a way to reject it. We always have to feel like men don't really know what they're talking about when they offer protection. So I think that's the problem today, is that it's out there, but now women are so controlling in society that when we see stuff like this, it's men who feel disconnected from it. They're like,
So listen, women, we need to exercise being nicer on the strength. As God rest my auntie, on the strength. You might want to, just be nice. I'm not saying be inviting, but be nice. Because you might not know if you're going to need protection from some lunatic who's talking to himself, talking about Satan, and then start beating your ass. And especially if you get on the train and you mad and somebody try to say, don't be saying hi to me.
What if she was polite to him?
Well, I'm saying that she may have been. And sometimes if you don't know who you're talking to, that's a bad thing too.
Yeah.
But sometimes
maybe she should act crazy when he was talking about Satan. I'd have been like, Satan, sometimes you got to play along. I don't know.
I've done that.
Yeah, you got to play crazy too. I've played deaf before. I'll start trying to, girl, I've done that
too. On trains, on the bus, I'll do that too. And I'll have my headphones on and like, ha!
Girl, that's
Especially
like
when I
walking
want nobody to sit next to me. Stop doing the church rock back and forth.
But tell me, when you did that, nobody messed with you.
Nobody sat next to me either.
Sometimes your protection as a woman is playing crazy when crazy people around you. When they say they see something, you better fucking see it. You better see it. That's it.
So, so I say, we're not taking any calls because we're going to have it's not a long stream. So we're not taking any calls. We just wanted to chop it up because I shared this. I told her about this video, but it really made me think, even if you have a husband, they're not going to be with you all the time because she had a husband. She was on her way to work. She don't know where to work. So so say for instance, you are a stay-at-home mom and your husband's home. I mean, you're a stay-at-home mom and your husband's at work, and something started to crack off at your house. You're gonna say, wait a minute, don't break in. I need to call my husband first. No, you better get locked and loaded.
Or a pit bull.
Something. And a pit bull. And again, like I said, it's so funny. That's why a lot of times I had to remind myself to quit walking around with my fist balled up. Now, Robin Harris did a skit. I don't know if you remember the skit a while back ago. He was talking about a woman. And I'm paraphrasing, he says, why you always walk around with your fist balled up? Just in case somebody want to act a fool. Just in case.
That was my mama too. My mama had we had birds, and the bird cage that we had the strongest legs. When the birds died, my mama took 3 of the legs and she took duct tape, black duct tape, and she wrapped them around the metal thing. So she made her a long weapon that was in her car, and she used to call it her nigga beater. And when it was something, and it would be men, especially men, she knew, okay, I don't have a gun, but I got this. She used to keep little lug nuts. It's crazy now. When I was an adult, I think of situations, but she definitely always kept something on her in case she had to protect herself. And it would be in the craziest moments. And through those moments, most of the time she was right. I've learned a lot. It'll be in the line at the bank, and you can just tell, okay, this man is about to do this. It's so common when you are a woman by yourself. I think that men don't really realize how many times we notice that we're in danger and we just leave situations, especially if you're a woman that most men want to talk to. Sometimes that friendly and niceness could put you in situations. So now we have men who aren't used to a generation of women being nice. So when you are nice, showing teeth, and you're friendly, and it's like, no, come back. I gotta follow you. You want me to help you see your car? And then it's like the gesture. Sometimes you could be in danger. This is blatant danger. But what about the dangers of a man helping you with your groceries to the car? I've seen those situations. They help them with their groceries while this man is distracting you, helping you with your groceries. Someone else is getting in the back seat of your car, and you don't even know. And now you're about to get in your car, and now these 2 men are about to kidnap you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of situations, us as women, we don't really have situational awareness to really identify what danger is. It has to be this blatant, but I want to know, prior to, why were they running? You know what I'm saying? And what was happening when he was yelling out Satan and this and that and the other? Where I would have wanted to get around people versus isolate myself. You know what I'm saying?
See, so that's what I was thinking, because again, but then consider again, they're talking about this is 5:30 in the morning. This is 5:30 in the morning. And I was thinking about that too, because again, I'm thinking it had to have started on the train because he drags her out. He drags her and throws her. So I'm thinking it didn't start, but again, we don't know this, but because again, we only see when he drags her and throws her against the wall, but the reporter said that she was hit with a bottle first. So she was probably hit with the bottle on the train. Yes. She was hit with the bottle first. unawares. Because again, so here's another thing, ladies. You know, like I said, many of us, even if we want to get married, may not. And even if we are married, like this woman, your husband's not with you 24 hours a day. If he works, if you work, or whatever. We have to be mindful of our surroundings. One, that's first thing. Two, we need to have some type of protection on our person, whether it be spray, you know, whatever, knife. I'm just going to say it, you know, because here in New York, I don't think people can have they can't legally have guns in New York nor California.
You have tasers or something. Well, this dude, I don't think he would have felt a taser.
No,
but there are certain things like well, I don't know about, like you said, certain states, but you know, the same type of taser that police have where it shoots out.
Yeah.
They have those. This may not be as strong, but I'll look at it from a standpoint, even if you're not trying to take them out, buy yourself some time. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can just keep him off of you just for a few moments, that could save your life, where you can get out the way, you can get to a phone, you can be running while you're on the phone. You know, it's a lot of things you can do to buy yourself some time. So even if your weapon, I feel like make yourself something, like take it out the house. I don't know, but there's a lot of things that you could do to take it out the house and still protect yourself.
Let me tell you something. I worked at a military jail. Okay. Basically the brig, they made weapons out of any damn thing. Toothbrushes.
I was gonna say that but I didn't want to seem hood, but definitely you can burn that toothbrush. Shave. I mean, it's a lot.
They don't say no tasers in New York.
Really?
Wow.
Dang.
Hey, Bobby. Yeah, I was at the brig in Norfolk, Virginia, and I mean, y'all might say it's a masculine job. I don't care. I was the best. You better get ahead of it, because I will no longer be ashamed of my greatness. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would. I like I said, it's a lot of things that can become weapons. Like I said, my mama had to create her own certain weapons when things happen. What happened to girls carrying around bats? I remember they used to be these little bats like this small, that you can put it in your purse. That thing was heavy. Batons. It's a thing you can whip that thing. It's so many things that you can have. Like I think that women feel like they don't really need protection. Like, how can we talk about we want protection for men, but we're not even prepared in situations if somebody hit us? You get knocked on your head, and that's just what it is. You got
all they say in Friday, knocked off out. Yeah, completely gone.
You got all this. That's a perfect movie, because when Nia Long was saying all of that to Debo, she was so unprepared when he smacked her. I'm just saying, like, we in this society got all this mouth, but you're not prepared to go back and forth with a man if he challenged you on that same said mouth. You know, so I think, girl, be your own woman king.
You know, don't get me started on woman king, because again, I am a warrior. Even if you're a warrior, you can't be a warrior all the time. You know, that's why I'm glad that I have my husband. But hey, Clue Channel, I have my husband. But when I watched that, it just really messed me up, because I'm like, you know, here she is married.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And her husband wasn't there to protect her. So it's not just as simple as people try to make it out to be. It's truly a part of it, definitely. You know, but again, I'm hesitant to say, you know, because the man who tried to come to her aid, even though he ran, he wasn't even Black. He wasn't even Black.
He tried though. He didn't really try, but I mean he made an
attempt.
Yeah, he made an attempt. He did.
He made an attempt. So
he could have been an 18-year-old guy. We don't know how old he was either. You know,
we saw how he like
he was like, look, no.
But I'll pray for you, basically. You know,
I'm on the main line. Yeah, no.
and see, that's what I'm talking about. When I think about my husband, I know that he would be the kind of help because, again, just on the strength that he would think, I would hope someone would help my wife. And I think if we start thinking about stuff like that, maybe that would, that would incline us to be more helpful.
Let's have a serious conversation. You got time?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a serious conversation. Do you think in a time now where being a woman is subjective, do you think we could really say women need protection? Because are we talking about women like natural women? Or are we talking about men that become women?
Because I'm talking about women that have wombs, thus the word woman.
Oh, okay. So not the one that's bald. Okay.
No.
Because I think today, and we're saying like these are women too. It's just like when we talk about protection, do we have the men ready to protect those women too, or is it going to get confused? I feel like we're not going to really get the movement of protecting women into those new women push the movement. If you kind of get what I'm saying, like once that becomes more of an attack on them, it seems like for us, then we'd probably then get heard more a lot from men.
Well, there is an attack on them, but I will submit to you, those transgender women, they're men. They're males. So, again, I don't give a damn if you like what I say. I'm not talking to you, or you agree what I say, or how much, hormone suppression, whatever. Even with that, your DNA is male. So you have the strength of a male.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah,
when I say protect women, I'm talking about women that were not assigned female at birth, but that were born female. See, that assigned female at birth, that pisses me off. No, you were born a female.
That's because you're from that
birth.
That generation. Huh? You're from that generation that thinks that way. Like now we're talking about a new world order. Like, we know the new world order. The new world order says this is what the order is. So our protection, the one that we want from men, is gonna have to unfortunately be aligned with these new women, because women, being a woman now, is subjective. There's an attack, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's an attack on masculinity. So in these society is like, this is good for in theory and conversation, but we're not gonna ever get those type of men back, TJ. We just waiting on, look, I ain't even gonna get into all that. We just sitting here, we just live here and we waiting for Jesus to come back. That's how I feel.
And that is sad. So if that is the case, like Scar said in Lion King, be prepared. Okay, so if that is the case, be prepared.
Because there is no king.
Huh?
I said, because there is no king. We gotta. The king is a woman.
Oh my God. That's a whole nother. So I want to let the record reflect. When I speak of women needing protection, I am talking about those who were born as female, that have a womb, the female reproductive system. That is whom I'm talking about. Y'all do what you need to do over there. I'm talking about when I'm speaking about a woman, that's what I'm speaking about. It's no hate, no phobia. I can't fight y'all's battles. It's hard enough to fight our own. So
I think it is. I just hope that us people, if we gonna care enough, we have to have movements. But the thing about it is that it's gonna take us to really show those changes and probably promote more women to protect themselves, and hope that the message doesn't get lost in we don't need men protection, because it's the same thing we see distorted in the whole Kevin Samuels things. He said this, but his message is getting distorted. You know what I'm saying? So I think if we talking about protect women, I think we definitely should talk about that. But I'm more so protect yourself, because these men aren't doing it, and a lot of these men don't even like being men. You know, that's just really what it is. They hate the fact that they're men. When we hear the message, why do y'all deserve protection and we get this? What about us? When women do it, we do. When women, it kind of sound like they want to be treated like women.
I'm so tired of that. I swear I am.
It's gonna be
and again, I thank God for my husband, because I share some of the stuff that I encounter in these YouTube streets. Well, that doesn't really sound like man behavior to me. I love him. He said, "Are we talking about women?" He said, "Are we talking about men? Or are we talking about women?" I said, "Babe, we're talking about men."
Now, this is the next question. What year were they born? You have to figure this out. You talking about the mama women?
Because he said men don't complain. He said men don't complain like women. Get some.
You said you don't want to take calls. I wanted to hear for some men.
Okay, we can take some. You're the guest, so if you're good with it, I'm good with it. Okay, hold on. If you're good with it, you're the guest. So if you
Raw Dog Ronnie.
Huh?
No, it's on my Raw Dog Ronnie. I seen them.
Okay, so I've dropped the link. Lucky says she will take some calls, so
I do want to hear what they think on this, because I was looking at something about this teacher who was okay with telling, she calls her kids cats or something like that. Like if they identify as cats, she's calling them cats, and she doesn't tell the parents. She doesn't have to tell. It's like, girl, I don't even know if I want my baby to go to school. I need to learn everything I need to learn so I can teach her, because
Michelle ain't going.
I think I'm a guy. I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
Michelle ain't going. And see, that's another. See, I don't want to get too far off topic, but see, that's another thing I have a problem with, because y'all stupid, and I'm speaking in general terms. When my daughter was 8, she said, "Oh, mommy, I'm a bunny rabbit." It's called imagination. Imagination. We would drive down the street and she see this building, and no matter where we were, she said, "Oh, mommy, that building is pancakes and cheese."
But that's what we're feeding into now.
It's imagination.
But if your son say, what song was that? What you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a motherfucking G. That's strange. If he say, you know what? I think I want to be this. It's like when men say they want to be something, we're not gonna just say, you know what, he a businessman. He don't know that we shunning those dreams. But now whatever you are, whatever you think you are. I told my nephew, I said, if you want to be Iron Man, you can just go to school every day with Iron Man outfit on. I mean, we are in society now where nobody's gonna think I have this man clearly has a mental illness, right?
Yes.
Y'all won't think I'm crazy if I get up here and I'm like, TT, I am a man. You'll be like, girl, like, no, I am a man. Call me Leonard. Y'all will be like, hi, Mandrill.
Hey, ladies, how you doing?
Hi, how are you doing, Darth Vader?
That's what they call me.
The force is strong with you.
Hey, I mean,
thank you. It sounds like you got an Android.
Yeah, I have a. You talking about phone?
Yes.
Yes, I do have a Droid. I do not have an iPhone. I refuse to get one.
So, what do you have on the topic?
I mean, your husband's absolutely right. It's not man behavior. Like a lot of it is just women. Like it's girl behavior. People see me go back and forth with some people, and the whole time I'm going back, people don't know this. But the whole time, if it's a guy, the whole time I'm going back and forth with him, I'm like, they'll see how I notice how I treat the conversation. I'll talk to them like I talk to women. Because like with ladies, you can be talking about something, right? And if you say one thing that makes them feel a certain way, they'll be stuck at that one point. Let you go on with the conversation, but then when you say, you got any questions? They'll go right back to that one spot and that you said that one word you said an hour ago, they won't go full and they'll miss the whole rest of the conversation. But you had guys out here now who act like this, that be stuck on one thing, and it's like, that is so irrelevant. Why are you stuck on that part? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. But I want to ask you, what did you think about did you see the video that I showed?
No, ma'am. My apologies.
Okay.
I came here
Well,
to support you and Lucky.
Okay. Well, for those who are tardy to the party, I'm going to show it anyway. So you get to join while we look at it real quick. Hold on a second.
All right.
Hold on. Truth, I see you. Hold on a minute.
This would be good for Mandro too, because I do want to hear what you think.
Okay, hold on. What am I doing? Okay, present. They done changed StreamYard. Video, extra camera. No, that's not it.
Hi, True.
Oh, here it is.
What's up, sweetie? How are you?
You got
Here
it.
it is. Okay, I got it. Here we go. Share. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning. Here, parental guidance is advised.
We are going to begin this evening with a vicious attack that again raises questions about the criminal justice system. A woman on her way to work at Kennedy Airport was pummeled to the ground, punched, and then kicked at the AirTrain station in Howard Beach. This video is from security cameras at that station. Police did make an arrest, and it turns out the suspect has a long history of attacking people. The victim spoke exclusively to Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett.
Do you know how scared I am now? I was never a person to be scared.
Elizabeth Gomes was beaten so badly, she stands to lose the vision in her right eye. Her head throbs with pain, and she's barely slept in a week. Not since she was attacked in the Howard Beach AirTrain station 6 days ago.
I can't see anything on my right side, honestly. And it just hurts.
Elizabeth was on her way to work.
Okay, so Mandro, you've seen it.
Yes, ma'am. Why did he attack her?
Well, let's finish it. So let's finish it.
JFK. She had just gotten off the A train and was headed up the stairs to the AirTrain platform when she was attacked from behind, smashed in the head with a bottle, and she never saw it coming. In the MTA's surveillance video, Elizabeth is dragged across the concourse and slammed headlong into a wall. She is punched mercilessly and kicked repeatedly. When a man tries to intervene, he is chased away before the suspect turns back to Elizabeth and kicks her 5 times before he calmly walks away into the transit system. She says he was muttering incoherently about Satan in the moments before the attack.
He's talking about the devil. He's talking about a whole bunch of nonsense.
Her husband is heartbroken and furious.
Man, I watch the video and I tear my heart out. You hear me?
The suspect was later arrested, identified by police as 41-year-old Wahid Foster.
Okay, so he attacked her because he is mentally ill. Let's continue.
In 1995, law enforcement sources say Foster was arrested for murdering his 82-year-old foster grandmother in a brutal beating at the age of 14. 6 years later, he's arrested for stabbing his 21-year-old sister with a screwdriver. And in 2010, arrested for attacking 3 workers at the Creedmoor Psychiatric Center where he was an inpatient. He was on parole at the time of last week's attack.
Okay.
All right.
So that's what me and Lucky are talking about,
Gotcha.
and we're talking about because there's a lot of talk that our men are our protectors, and this is true if you have them. But also, what if your protector is not there? Like her husband, she was going to work. So I was also saying that in as much as there are some women who say that I only have to respect my husband, I don't have to respect every man, and I don't have to. And so I was saying, and again, shout out to Truth, he kind of brought it to my attention. I have to agree. We generally speaking, women should at least be kind. We don't have to be engaging. Mm-hmm. We don't have to be engaging, but at least be not mean, because our husband may not be there to save us, but we might need somebody else's husband to save us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the part about this video that got me, I mean, of course the beating, but the person that came up looked like he was going to try to tackle the guy from behind or something, but then when the guy turned around, he ran away. That's the part that gets under my skin.
I knew
just
it would.
just as much as the beating. It did. Like, okay, is the guy beating on a woman? Why are you running away? And people look at me like, well, he's mentally ill. I don't know that at the moment, and I don't care. There's a man beating a woman. What are you
And
talking
that
about?
and Mandrill, that's exactly the position that Mr. Randolph took, because I tried to show him the video and he couldn't even finish watching it, but he was so angry. And
Right,
he
it's
said,
making my blood boil too.
he said, no man, the man ran. I mean, he couldn't even, but again, we have
Can't put up not even a little fight, child.
a lot of men say, well, why should I, even try to, protect these women because they're this, that, and the other. And that is true. But even with that, my husband, like you, Mandrell, and you, Truth, if you all hadn't seen that, if you hadn't witnessed a battling or whatever, where that, she's in his face or whatever, not to say that would make it right, but his instinct, like yours, would be to help the woman, not wondering, well, women they ain't nice to us and they don't respect us, so why should we protect anyone? His thought wouldn't be that way. His thought would be to help this woman. Your
Right.
thoughts?
He should. I mean, the guy who ran away should be arrested, in my opinion. I mean, some people don't need to be here. That's just my take. I mean, if that's all you're worth, I mean, why bother? I mean, what's your life worth? I mean, it doesn't matter. This beating, it doesn't matter what that woman said or did in this case. She did not deserve that. And then the guy comes up there, looked like he was about to help for a second, and then he runs away. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I'm being extreme, but I don't care. He ran away. Why? No, that's inexcusable.
You're not being extreme. I feel like we should do away with the beat ass inners. You kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
He might as well not did nothing. He didn't do nothing.
He ran.
I hate to put the responsibility on him, but since you had the instinct to do something, you should have did something. Even if it was but you could have threw something. I don't know. Something.
I was thinking the same thing. Pick up a damn trash can and throw it at him.
It was literally a sign right there when he threw her. It was a sign. Like, you could pick it up. While he's beating her, you could have had him on the back of his head. There was so many things you could have done to at least buy her some time to get up. You know what I'm saying?
And run away.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. This is my thing. Like, nobody bothers to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Nobody wrestled in high school. Nothing. You don't know how to defend yourself or
help. They don't want to get hit.
Well, forget all that. Nobody cares. Now, Truth, what you got?
Yeah. So first and foremost, we gotta look at everything. Now, the guy that attacked her, we got further information. He was, obviously at the end of it said he was even in a psychiatric ward.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to put further context. This is not normal behavior of a man, because this is what drives these points that majority of men are out here putting their hands on women. That's not what happens. So I just want to put that, because when we see this, then that's the narrative that this has happened. If we have 100 men, 90 of them are putting their hands on women. These are isolated incidents, and most of the time, the man is something wrong with them. If you track it, anytime when you see men putting their hands on women, most of the time, there's something wrong with them, and they have either history of abusing women, or they either have actually mental disabilities and stuff like that. Having said all that, we got to understand how I was brought up. I was brought up around actual men. So our idea is to protect women, though. We protect women. Now, also from what I was brought up, I was actually brought up around women who actually came to men for help, not ones that said, I do not need a man's help. They actually came to a man for help for when they needed help. So if the
Amen.
man is abusing, they wouldn't buck up to him. They would actually go behind the man and then, beat his ass. That's what they would do. And I've actually seen my father, my grandfather, when my grandmother had got in arguments and everything, that's exactly what they do. Daddy, come get him. Come out here and get him. And granddaddy would go out there and whip his ass. She didn't buck up. It automatically, and this is what I mean by this is what femininity is. It will unlock a man's masculinity and our innate nature to protect women. It will automatically rise. When you take certain things out of order, then you get niggas out of order, like the guy that ran down the escalator. He didn't attack because he's not used to that. You can't automatically make somebody be something that they're not. I'm confrontational. I fight. I have fought, so I don't have a problem fighting. So it wouldn't bother me. I'm about that life. So getting hit, it doesn't matter. So I would have put my hands on him, and we would just been rumble, whether I got my ass whipped or not. I don't have a problem with that. That guy, clearly, he is not used to confrontation like that. So what he did, he probably like, look, I'm going to distract him, and I distract him, and then I'm getting up out of there. I can't blame him because I've seen dudes that talk a whole lot of trash and they freeze up just as well. So I'm not trying to hear everybody coming, oh, I would have did this and that. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Not everybody would do that. So again, I am raised that way. I've been around men who protected women. So again, our innate nature would kick in. Just like I would if I would expect somebody to step up for my daughter. Luckily, excuse me. Lucky brought this up earlier. If my daughter was at a college, which I told you this earlier too, I would expect somebody, she's getting raped, she's getting beat on, she's getting attacked. I would want somebody to help her because I am that way. That's why. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and not help this woman if she's getting attacked, but I want that favor for my daughter. That's how I'm moving. So what we need to do is, and this is what I keep saying, we keep talking about solutions. It was I think it was either I'm trying to think whether this was actually an actual event or a movie. A woman was actually on I think she was getting off a bus. Her and a guy had interaction in exchange. She was rude to him. The same guy that passed her being rude to him, she got her purse taken and she looked at him and asked him why he didn't have. He said, "You must be out your mind." And I'm using that as a reference point. You was just rude to that man, but you expected him to stand up as a man. But you already emasculated him, disrespected him as a man. We can't have it both ways. Once again, so I'm a preference my point. I still would defend her because that's just in me to do it. Regardless whether she would have disrespected me. I wouldn't have been able to go home and lay my head down knowing that woman got beat and I didn't do anything. I would have took that ass whipping. That's me. But we gotta get back to things being in order. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree. Lucky, what you got?
No, I agree with him because he's saying, like, from my perspective, that's something that I would have wanted based on the type of man I am. And I'm willing to bet truth comes from a generation that ain't this generation that we understand, but now we have these new men of generation of men, just like we have these new women where things are switched. Yes. So you have men who are very feminine and you have women who are very masculine by way of how they act. But when it comes down to it, where your gender and what you have matters, the woman is going to always go right back to being the damsel because you can't fight in this situation. Then you have the men who want to step up being men, but God forbid I get punched. I'd rather her get punched. That's what it is. Like, they can't take a punch. It's not even, it ain't even that bad. I'd have been 5 minutes hit before. Sometimes you don't even feel it. You feel it afterwards, depending on how hard they hit you. But that's why you gotta, I don't even think it's the fighting. I think we have men who just scared to get hit.
Yeah, it's cowards. That's just what it is. It's cowards.
Just like the guy who ran away from the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there came
it's
time dude was ready to hit him. He was not.
He's like, it's like yoked up.
And you ain't hear me say, "Oh yeah, I was going to handle." I said I would. I don't have a problem fighting. I would have took that ass whipping if he was going to give it.
But see, you
it's
could
just
probably
being
understand
involved.
You probably operate like most men. Like, I'm not saying I could whoop everybody's ass, but just know
Exactly.
I'm not gonna walk away with my ass being the only one that you could tell was in the fight.
That's
You
right.
know, look at both of us and be like, look, maybe it was a tie. You know,
Right. You might get me, but you're gonna remember you was there.
Yeah. Like
you're gonna remember I was there.
My dad said, because he worked with young boys at these in the placement, and they always try to buck up to him. He said, "You know what? You might whoop my ass." He said, "But you gonna have a good strong 10 minutes." He said, "So whatever you get after 10 minutes, you earned it, but you gonna get 10 minutes."
Exactly. And some men, you get that first round, I'm gonna tire you out. We're gonna have to keep going.
And the thing is, what most people don't know is in a fight, 10 minutes is a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
10 minutes is forever in a fight.
That's a long.
That's a long time.
And
even in
don't
professional boxing. Yeah, even in professional boxing, 1 round is 3 minutes. That's it. A round is only 3 minutes because if imagine they went 10-minute rounds, they be done in 4 rounds.
They hit like this.
I saw a comment.
They be done.
I saw a comment with Thanos put. He said West Baltimore. Yes, sir. You can hear it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Dominic
I'm from the
Pollard,
trenches, shorty.
I see you in here, and I don't know who you're. He said after you save her, you won't even get a thank you. She goes say that's what.
Well, Dominic, she's right. That is what a man's supposed to do. You're not supposed to get a thank you. So what if you don't get a thank you? So what? That's not what you do.
I've already, and I don't know why he's still going
But
that route because I already prefaced my comments.
Most women, particularly in this type of situation, would say thank you. So if that's been your experience,
I couldn't imagine a woman getting beat and her not thank him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this lady possibly will be blind in one eye. I couldn't. Yes. I get what he's trying to say, but that's what he's
trying to say. But
I'm tired of all the.
I've already.
It's just so much. That's a whole nother show. But it's so much when you even try to offer some. Yeah, but this. Okay. Yeah, but this. There's always a yeah, but.
But that's not even the. Like, I don't know who Dominic. This ain't an attack, but that's
we're not talking about that right now.
That will never happen. You will never catch a woman being protected by a man and her not say thank you. Where did you get that from? Even if I don't care if she the loudest, she could be Meg the Stallion talking about he shot me. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. We talking about that's a lie, whatever. Protect black women. Even if she does that, and that's true, that's what I was saying. Adrenaline, you ain't gonna feel it. But
no, that's real talk.
Unless he really startle you with it, or you like, okay, but you don't. That's just really something to push out in the world to kind of justify why men don't want to protect women when that's not even the case. I don't care. She could be the loudest, ghettoest, problematic. She could be big, and you might think she could fight dudes, but if she's in a situation and you protect her, she's going to be thankful. Just like that wasn't even a thing.
Is again it did. And again, he might not be one of those guys where that would kick in. See, I'm not going to place everybody in that situation because I just know that they just wouldn't handle it like how I would. But it's just for me, it's a situation where I just wouldn't be able to go home and rest my head. I was raised by my grandfather, my father, my uncles and everything like that. And again, I've seen them do this. So it's innately in me to, when a woman needs help, protect them. It's just going to automatically kick in. It's something I've done. It's something I've seen the men that I've looked up to do. But if you're not in that mode or whatever, they're probably not going to do that. And then again, I spoke about the other part. There is a situation and a culture going on where there are women that just believe because they are anatomically correct that a man should do it, and they are ungrateful about doing. Now, that what he's talking about, that's not a lie, but that still does not constitute a man if you are a man from supposed to be doing this job. That's the way I look at it. So
Well,
again,
and Dominic, you can't protect everyone. And again, this is very true. I think the overarching thing that I wanted to bring about this video is that even if you have a man or a community of men to protect you, they're not with you all of the time. They're not going to be with you all the time. Somebody typing?
I'm sorry.
You can just mute yourself if you're not.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. And so the question becomes, what do you do? What I do, I'm keeping my head on a swivel. I'm mindful of my surroundings. I have several firearms. Okay. I have other things because Mr. Randolph is not always with me. You know, I'm out with my G baby. I'm locked and loaded. Because again, I know that, you know, you got to go out by yourself sometime. But what I'm also imploring us as women to do when we have the opportunity just to be kind. If we're out and about, someone's, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, just reciprocate. We don't have to necessarily be engaging, but also be mindful if we see people talking to themselves, either we like you said, either we gonna go in the opposite direction or we gonna be just as crazy and start, you know, twitching and
I was laughing.
Whatever. I have had my headphones on and just start talking to myself and rocking.
Let me ask y'all this: have y'all ever been walking home by yourself? Y'all start talking real loud?
Yep.
Do y'all remember a movie called Holiday Heart? It's a movie called Holiday Heart where the mother in it was Wanda, and it was a scene where she was outside of the church and she was like, "Bless up, bless." I swear, I used to do that. When you used to walk down the street.
Is that the one with Ben Rhymes?
Yep, and
I've seen that movie. I love that movie.
I love it, but I swear I love that movie because that scene, when especially young women know when you're walking down the street, you don't want to pass a group of men because you know somebody in the group, you know, it might be this, you want to cross the street. If you can't, I swear, every time they try to talk and I'm like, no, and I could tell they following me, I would just take off and I'd be like, bless her. I'll go straight in the middle of the street. Like, I don't care. They was like, damn, I just wanted your number. And I just yell out whatever. Like, it was, you just gotta be crazy. Nobody want to talk to nobody who crazy.
So you just pretend to be crazy to keep the cat callers away.
I did. And again, you know, because, you know, before I was married, I would wear rings and I'm married, but sometimes that wouldn't work either. So I would just want to talk to you more. I would just like, you know, just start talking to myself and just, hey!
Or you gotta start humming old Negro spirituals. It's just, so you gotta play deaf.
It may be wrong, but you know, again,
and that's the thing, that
subversion.
You know? Yeah, and this incident apparently took place in New York, and
yes,
New York is crazy like that, and I love every minute of it. I do. Sadly, enough to say, but you know, my sister lives there, and I do worry about her.
Yes,
but I do love the crazy shit. Huh?
Shoes in New York?
Yeah, she lives in Manhattan.
I would be so devastated if something happened. Like that.
I would be, yeah. She lives there.
That's why I don't like public transportation.
But if you live in New York, that really is the best way to travel.
Yeah, that's the best way to travel.
Yeah, they don't have cars.
Right. It's kind of pointless to have a car in New York. I mean, even though they're everywhere, they're all of but you have to pay for parking.
Traffic is horrible.
And if you own a car, you have to. It's like a monthly fee to have a parking space. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, especially like at her building. Like, yeah, she can park right there, but she has to pay for that on top of rent and everything else. Like everything costs something in New York, so it's just cheaper just to take the subway.
Because I understand you can rent a car for like an hour, a couple of hours. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who's lived in New York for over 30 years and has never had a car.
Again, no point. The grocery store, any grocery store is like right down the street. You know, it's like a block away. You can walk everywhere, and you can rent bicycles. You can rent cars for like you said, like a couple of hours. You know what I mean? And but this kind of things, you see people on subways talk to themselves all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time, you see people doing this kind of stuff, men, women, and it's entertaining to say the least, but it is also concerning that my sister's up there by herself.
Well, it's entertaining. Like I was telling Lucky earlier today, I went to no, my niece was here for a college visit, and we were walking around. We were away from the campus. We went to get some lunch in town, and my sister were walking, and this man was walking towards us, and you could see that he was talking to himself, and he was doing all the kind of stuff. And my sister was trying to hurry up and get out of the way. But me, I'm just walking, but I got my fist balled up. So, I got my fist balled up just in case something crack off. But again, but even still, you can still be caught unawares. Like this lady was, he hit her in the head with a bottle.
And she had no clue. And I understand what you're saying, TJ. It does go to this. Like, you have to be careful. It's okay. It pays to be nice. Because at any given time, like, because they're in New York, you can get cursed out just walking down the street. People, people with mental health issues, they'll just start, like, that's the part that's hilarious to me. They'll just start cursing at you, and you did absolutely nothing. But they'll look at you and start cursing. Whatever's going on in their head, they'll look at Lucky's face. Hey, look at Lucky's face.
No, it happens. They do it happens.
Lucky. People.
I've got in a fight with somebody
for no reason.
I got in a fight with somebody at the subway station. Somebody that was mentally ill.
Right, and the thing is, you have to understand, I have to defend myself. You got mental issues, okay, but
I do too. At the end of it,
right? At the end of it, exactly. I'm gonna have them too when I put my hands on you.
I think just like we were talking about Mandrell at the time, this man was okay. He has mental health issues, but all at that moment is that he's just started to beat this woman. All this other history came later. He was speaking incoherently, and obviously that gave some insight, but no one knew to the degree. But all at this moment, whether he is in his right mind or not, he is assaulting a person.
Exactly.
Let me tell y'all something very, very probably vivid. You better be lucky a cop wasn't there, because his butt probably would have been down.
Well, that's the point. Hold on. Let's get back to it. Now that you mentioned it,
probably put him down.
Well, let's get back to it.
So he's very lucky.
No police officers anywhere in the station. No one to prevent the attack, and no one on the scene to respond to it.
Every day is an incident in the subway.
Pause.
Police officers.
Huh?
I was saying right next to her was a sign, so that's what I was saying. The guy who kind of ran up. If you look at
the sign right there,
you see that blue sign.
Yeah, in front of the window.
Saying pick that up and bust him in the head.
I'm just saying, like, if we all know
I probably would have, but that guy wasn't going to do that.
Yeah,
he probably would have failed. He probably
he probably just didn't think to do it at all. But hold on, so she said there was no police and nobody there to prevent it or to respond to it. So I understand what you're saying, that the police probably would have put him down. Well, maybe that's what he needed.
Maybe they hiring.
Okay now. So, no.
Police in New York, but police in New York are always hiring. Always hiring in New York.
Let's deal with that right there. So now, what would have happened is, let's say that was an incident. Would it be the same veracity that people go around with if that man was put down? They would have said he was unarmed, but would it be the same thing? Because,
no, we wouldn't have cared.
We wouldn't have cared, right? We wouldn't have cared, right? No, I'm asking Lucky. We wouldn't have cared, right?
His fist was the arm. His fist and his. I'm
not one. Look, I am not the Black Lives Matter campaign. I want to know what they did first.
Right. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. I'm saying when we talk about society, the reason why I brought this up is, if he would have got put down, let's say it was, officers involved, they would have put him down. I know for a fact. When looking at him out of control, they'd have put him down.
If I was
so once they put him down, then first of all, would it be the same veracity that we see around? Oh, this is Black Lives Matter, another black man down and all this type of stuff, or would the scenario and narrative change now because it was a woman involved?
Well, the thing,
No, but hold on. Let me answer this.
yeah.
I don't think it would be a woman because a woman now definitely that probably would add, but the fact that he was beating someone damn near with inch of their life, whether it been a child, whether it been another man, whether it been a woman, they would have been
Only
justified.
reason why I said that is because of do y'all remember the 16-year-old what is it, Ma'Khia Bryant? This is the reason why I'm bringing this up. It was a female and female interaction, and the man still got crucified, and she was about to throw that knife up in that little girl. Lucky know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I know.
believe
I remember what you were talking
I
about. I remember that
believe
incident.
if the scenario would have down, now we would have probably went the route of saying that this was a justified shooting because he was beating that woman. I'm using this to pinpoint up. Yeah, I'm
And
using this to
because
pinpoint something.
beating a woman, then the police would have got the backing to say this was just
Correct.
because he was beating a woman. I agree with that, and also I think too in this situation it's kind of like those things you got to catch somebody in the act. But it's just like I don't know the lady's name. This lady called the police, and this young black boy was killed. But prior to that, it was a whole protesters outside of her home. All of this. She was a Hispanic lady. She came outside saying that man y'all saying protect his life was unarmed. He was trying to kidnap my child. He was doing stuff at her house. He was at her house trying to attack her. He just wasn't successful because she called the police and he was the one in the wrong and all of this. So he ended up being killed in the process. And the whole people did the same protest because all they know he was black and she wasn't black. But when you heard the details, they felt stupid because he was in fact her family was gonna be having a funeral if the police didn't get there because he was in fact the threat. So I think that's a good point too, because we only kind of point out that we want the police to do their job when we agree with the situation.
Okay.
Right.
I can get with that. I can get with that. I can really.
Yeah, that's why. Like, even with this video, if you remember, the first question I asked was, "What did she do to him?" Or like, "Why was he beating her?" Now it comes to find out she didn't do anything. I don't jump to conclusions. I wouldn't know what was going on
just so you know, for future references, your ain't gonna bring no bullshit up here. If the woman is wrong, if the woman is wrong and provoked it, I'm not gonna be. I'll be saying you wrong as hell. We wouldn't even be having this kind of conversation.
Oh yeah, no, I know you.
The conversation would be you think you out of your damn mind if you go do this and not expect some type of ramification.
Yeah, I know you can.
I still would feel the same. I couldn't imagine what level of disrespect a woman can offer to a man to get beat like that, other than she did something to his loved one, or she tried to get him in jail on some lying allegations. Like, it really got to be extreme. But even just off strangers, what could she have possibly said or did to him to deserve to get beat like this? So it's just like a woman being sexually violated. Well, what did you do? Were you over there? What did you wear? It's kind of dismissive, as if it does not matter. He still shouldn't be beating on her, even if she said whatever. I've seen men hit women, and far less women who spit on them. And now spit, you deserve to get your head knocked off your shoulders. But I've seen women spit on a man and a man knock her, but he still didn't do her the way this woman was.
Yeah, you don't do all that.
So it's a way that I feel like even with fighting is really, you can get your point across if somebody lets you hit them, right? It becomes a fight when you defend yourself. So if it's a woman violating a man or a woman spit on you, you knocking fire from her, the taste out of her mouth, it's gonna get your point across. I bet you she won't get up.
Right.
And
that's how it was back in the day.
It doesn't take all that. Like, even when I was growing up, and like, I'm not sure how old Truth is, but like in my day, kids used to fight, but when we fought, there's a point where you stop. Because like you said, your point has been made. There's no need to go any further. No need to pull a gun or pick up something, especially when you got the person down or anything like that. This guy, whatever that woman would have said to him, it didn't it didn't cause for all that. That lady didn't deserve
He's
that.
talking to Satan.
Yeah.
Well, and see, like the title is deceiving, because it says that the woman beaten in the subway station after refusing man it advances. So I was looking for that in the video,
Yeah,
but I didn't see that. I didn't see that. So, but even if that did happen, it don't warrant that.
It doesn't.
Correct.
I mean, if a woman says no, if you advance towards a woman, she says no, well then you say, okay, nice to meet you, and walk away. Like that's how that works.
Well, honey, you from a different, y'all from a different, because a lot of men say, well, fuck you then, bitch.
Why?
Yeah.
My thing is, what if she has a friend? What if she has a friend that you get with later on? And then,
so many times, I have never did that, but I've seen guys do that.
That's happened to
known
me.
people in our schools that when it was in school, they've done it. And that's because, once again, you have guys that's not used to, it takes for them to try to get the woman, and then when they reject it, it's just I don't understand it. But again, I'm not them, so I can't speak to psychology.
Entitlement.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I've never understood that either.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop you two down because me and Lucky gonna wrap up. But thank you,
Auntie.
Mandrill
Love you.
and nephew, for coming. I love
All
you
right,
too.
kiddo.
No problem.
All right.
Y'all have a good one.
Okay, let me drop y'all down. Okay, y'all going down. All right, Missy Pooh, got any last words?
No, this was a great conversation. I think we got to find more stuff. Keep pulling it out. We could talk about it. It's a lot of events like this, especially in this generation now. I remember years ago I posted on Facebook, I hope nothing happens to me in public, because these men today are the type to pull out their phone and record it and post. And that's just the society we in now. Like, they don't even use the phone to call the police to help you. They just want to get it on camera.
Exactly. So they can have a viral moment.
You're literally watching a video of somebody getting beaten, and the person that's recording the video is saying, call police. Call the police. Anybody call the police? Well, you have a phone in your hand. So, yeah, I'm going to say, women, get the strap. You got to get the...
Go on Amazon, get you a taser, get you a concealed blade, whatsoever, get you some mace, some pepper spray on your keychain. Always be mindful of your surroundings. Always. Even if it means you got to get off the bus last. Shit. Get off the bus so you can see who's,
That's the one. And then it's where you sit if you're in public transportation. Mom always tell me don't sit directly by the door, because there's situations where they hop on real quick. They might snatch something from you, hop back off. They might, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things. That's why it's good to stand in certain. Don't always be so quick to take a seat. It's just certain things that you have to endure. Always have something in your hand.
Or if you take a seat, don't take a seat that someone can sit behind you. Get, how they have those seats that first row where you can look across from, so no one is sitting behind you. Don't get that.
Know when to get up too, because there's a lot of situations where women just stay sitting down, and you could see this man pacing. You could see, and you just still sitting down, and it ain't until you gotta be prepared, or just know when to go. Just know when to leave. Know when to. Like, not every situation. I'm gonna say that for men too, because sometimes you be in situations where you like, look, I ain't no punk, and they gonna know today. So sometimes you gotta even move out of the situation. Like, all right, you got it. You got it. And you just gotta remove yourself, and don't be so quick to. I don't like places with a whole lot of people. Like, people are crazy.
I have changed a lot about that. If I don't, I am really selective with the things that I go, as far as out being around a lot of people, because things are so different now. But really, if you are in an area or in a state that has where you can get your carry license, your license to carry, get it. Get it. Get it.
Period.
And even if you are in a state that you don't have that, most states allow you to at least have home protection for your home. Get you a shotgun, because a lot of times if you do that pump and they hear the pump, if they come in after the pump, they bowl and they deserve to get whatever you give them.
And don't underestimate box cutters.
Correct.
Who put a box cutter?
So this is real. Again, this is a very terrible situation, but again, it's a cautionary tale that we need to be mindful of, our surroundings as women. We need to protect ourselves, because even if we are married, if we have a husband, we might be in spaces that they're not available around to protect us. Or if we are, we might be in a situation that the men who could protect us choose to run away.
Mm.
So again, in looking in my surroundings, I'm always looking, if something crack off, what can I pick up? What can I pick up? So, all right, Missy Food, thank you. I know you got to get ready for another show. So, I'm going to drop you down, huh?
I said, yeah, in a second. I'm going to get ready for it. Thank you, TT. We got to do this again.
Yes, we must. Love ya. Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, wow. Thank y'all for joining me. Well, yeah. Yeah. Thank y'all for joining me and joining in the discussion in the chat. And thank you to my guests, Nisi Poo, Lucky Marie, and also Mandrell, and my adopted nephews, Mandrell and Truth. This was a good conversation. And I tell you, even though, I'm an older woman, when I go into spaces and there are men around, younger men that may not give me two thoughts, I always speak. And a lot of times speaking kind of catches them off guard, because they don't expect women or they may not expect a woman to speak to them, or an older woman. So I always speak to them, or ask them something. If I see them in the store, is that good? Because I was thinking about getting it, because if I find myself out and about and something happened, maybe somebody I spoke to or I had some light chatter with will come to my aid if I needed that. Because it don't cost nothing to be nice. Okay, this has been a great show. I appreciate you all joining me. I truly do. Please, I forgot to say hit the like button, but shout out to the moderator extraordinaire, RM, and also Jenny. Thank you so much for my moderators. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna do this again. Okay. So until next time, ciao for now.